Hi, and welcome to my channel. I am Shinigami Eyes, and today I will be discussing the novel Five Nights at Freddy's The Week Before, an interactive novel. This is the first of two so far Choose Your Own Adventure books in this series, the second being Return to the Pit. This book has 75 possible endings, with only a few leading to you surviving, the true endings. The book itself feels somewhat like a FNAF game, with your ability to make choices to try and survive a week at Freddy's. It is set, as the name suggests, the week before the game of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, with yourself playing as Phone Guy, who's heard in recordings throughout the first game. Without further ado, let's get into the book and all of its possible endings. In the introduction, we learn about our character written in the perspective of us playing as him. You are Ralph. You've been working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for a long time and are 22-time Employee of the Month, but this is now your final week on the job despite having enjoyed it. You have to make sure you protect Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, as well as the restaurant's reputation. Your first choice in the story is to choose either easy or normal difficulty. On easy difficulty, you will begin with a paperclip, screwdriver, and flashlight, and on normal difficulty, you will start out with only your wits. We begin at 12 AM at night 1. Being in the same style as the games, each night is written night 1 to 6, and is written from 12 AM to 6 AM. You are introduced to the security office, which is described as the same as the office in FNAF 1, with the doors and lights on either side of you. You also learn that you have a daughter, called Copelia, and that the animatronics have been strangely aggressive lately. As you sit in the office, you hear them stomping around. Looking over the cameras, you see that Bonnie and Chica are no longer on the stage. Before you can locate them, you realise you must change the light bulbs in the men's restroom. You are now given 4 options: inspect the desk, exit through the door on your left, exit through the door on your right, and check the cameras again. If you inspect the desk, you will clean up rubbish on the table. This will allow you to add a paperclip to your inventory, and you go back to the previous option again. If you check the cameras again, you will discover Chica is in the kitchen, through the audio, just like in the game, and that Bonnie is in the West Hall, headed towards the security office. Alternatively, the first possible ending is found by exiting through the door to your left, when you go to the supply closet to get light bulbs and Bonnie is inside, jumping out and killing you. The second possible ending, or game over, I will describe all of the game overs as endings, however, the true endings I'll point out when we get to them. The second possible ending occurs if you enter the door on your right, walking into the hallway and dining area heading towards the bathrooms. You hear a crashing noise that you suspect is Chica in the kitchen, and then hear slow, heavy footsteps, giving you 3 options: hide under a table, hurry towards the bathroom, or knock over a table as a distraction. If you hurry towards the bathroom, Chica will catch up to you on the way there, grabbing you and killing you. For the third possible ending, if you knock over the table as a distraction, you flip the table and start to dart towards the bathrooms when you see Bonnie and Chica in your way. As you try to turn the other way, you run right into Freddy, who kills you. Therefore, the only way to continue is by hiding under a table. As you hide under the table, you hear the footsteps slowly plodding towards the dining area. You have 3 choices: keep waiting, hurry towards the bathroom, and use the bonus item. Now, the bonus item we won't yet have and cannot be found until you've once already gone through the story, so we'll save those bonus item options until the end. If you hurry towards the bathroom, you'll reach the same ending as if you'd hurried towards the bathroom before, being killed by Chica. If you keep waiting, you'll hear footsteps that eventually stop after several minutes. You then have 2 options: head straight to the restroom or check the tabletop first. If you check the tabletop first, you will add a gum wrapper to your inventory. You will then return back to the last choice, giving you only the option to head to the restroom. You then have 3 options: replace the first light bulb, listen at the door, or inspect the sink. By listening at the door, nothing much happens. You're given the other 2 options again: replace the first light bulb and inspect the sink. By inspecting the sink, you will find chewed gum and add it to your inventory, where you're sent back to the first 3 choices. You then change the first light bulb, giving you light in the bathroom, and you're given 3 options: replace the second light bulb, listen at the door again, or inspect the sink. If you replace the second light bulb, you'll meet the 5th ending. Foxy will come running into the bathroom and kill you. If you inspect the sink, Foxy will also kill you, running into the bathroom. Therefore, the only way to continue is by listening at the door again. You hear Foxy heading towards the bathroom, and you have 2 choices: either barricading the door or hiding in a stall. If you barricade the door, you won't be able to find anything heavy enough. You hold the door to try and keep Foxy out, but he's too strong, and he kills you. Therefore, in order to continue, you have to hide in the stall. You dash to the first stall and find that it's locked from the inside, giving you 3 options. Barricade the restroom door, try the next stall over, or if you have a paperclip, use it. If you barricade the restroom door, you'll reach the same ending as if you initially tried to barricade the door, being killed by Foxy. If you try the next stall over, you'll meet the 7th ending. You won't get into the stall in time, and Foxy flings open the door, heading towards you and humming before he kills you. So in order to continue, you will have to have collected the paperclip earlier in the story, and use it, or have started on easy and already have had a paperclip. You will unlatch the door and slip inside, however the door won't stay shut while Foxy is right outside the restroom. You have 3 options. Try the next stall over, hold the door shut, and if you have chewed gum, use it. If you try the next stall over, you'll reach the same ending as if you'd done so before, being killed by Foxy. If you hold the door shut, you'll reach the 8th ending, not be able to keep it closed, and Foxy will hear you, causing him to rip the door off its hinges and lunge at you. Therefore, you'll have to have also collected the chewed gum earlier in the story and now use it. You use the gum to stick the door closed. You hear the bathroom door open and eventually close as Foxy leaves. You then have 2 options. Peek under the door and look outside, and peek under the stall. If you peek under the door and look outside, you'll see Foxy walking away. If you peek under the stall, you won't see anything. But both options lead you to the same next point, where you're given 2 options. Replace the second light bulb, or look inside the second bathroom stall. If you look inside the second bathroom stall, first you'll hear a strange song-like rhyme, but you're not sure where it's coming from. You also find a ballpoint pen on the ground that you add to your inventory. Inside the door, you see "It's me" written in angry scribbles. You then go back to the previous point, leaving you now just the option to change the second light bulb. Once you change the light bulb, you have 2 options. Leave the restroom right away, or listen at the door. If you leave the restroom right away, you will be met face to face with Bonnie, giving you another 2 options. Slam the door, or try to slip past. If you try to slip past him, you'll reach the 9th ending, with Bonnie grabbing you and dragging you backstage, putting you in a costume. If instead you slam the door, you hold the door closed until you hear Bonnie leave. Alternatively, if instead of immediately leaving the restroom, you listened at the door, you will see Bonnie's feet beneath the door and you wait for him to leave. Both of these 2 options will then lead you to the same next point, where you return to the security office at 5:45 a.m. You then have 3 more options. Tidy up before the end of your shift, sit down and wait for 6 a.m, and if you have the bonus item, use it. Again, of course, we can't do the bonus item yet. So, if you tidy up before the end of your shift, you will clean up the office. Looking at the Celebrate poster on the wall, you notice there's a bulge in the paper, and then a red light starts blinking on the phone. You then have 3 options. Investigate the poster, check on the phone, or wait until the end of your shift. Investigating the poster takes you to the same point as choosing sit down and wait until 6 a.m. You will notice a bump under Freddy's nose, and you press it, being surprised to hear a honk, just like in the games. As you press it, a card falls from behind the posters onto the floor. It's an old security badge with the name scratched out, which you add to inventory. This then concludes night 1. Or if you wait until the end of your shift after tidying up the office, you will be taken straight to completing the night without finding the security badge. Alternatively again, if you choose to check on the phone, you see extensions for numbers around the pizza place, and the blinking light suggests that you've been left a message. You're given 3 options. Call backstage, call home, and call voicemail. If you call backstage, nobody will pick up, and you will then complete the night. If you call home, you will realise the phone doesn't allow you to call outside the restaurant without a code that you don't have. You wonder if typing in your home number was a bad idea, and you would then complete the night. If you call voicemail, you will ring the number and it will ask for a 4-digit voicemail code. You have 2 options. Use the code or hang up. You cannot yet have found the code, so you have to hang up, completing the night. All of these endings lead to the same final page completing night 1. You then head home to cook Coppelia breakfast and get her up and ready for school. As she is about to go, she asks to borrow a pen, and you have 2 options. Give her the ballpoint pen and remove it from your inventory, or tell her to borrow a pen. If you give her the ballpoint pen, she will twist it and discover there's a screwdriver inside before running off to the bus for school. If you tell her to borrow a pen, you'll skip seeing the screwdriver pen from Freddy's, but both options will then send you to the beginning of night 2. As you start the second night, you have 3 options. Check the show stage camera, check the dining area camera, and check the restroom camera. If you check the show stage camera, you will discover that Bonnie's head is missing and assume that it must have been a prank by some kids. You then have 3 more options. Check the dining area camera, check the restroom camera, and check the backstage camera. If you check the backstage camera, you will realise that you haven't checked on Foxy in a while. Checking at the cove, the curtain will be open, and you then hear Foxy running towards your office, killing you. If instead you check the dining area camera, you will be taken to the exact same point as if you initially chose to check the dining area camera, rather than the show stage camera. You will notice Bonnie's head sitting on the floor in the dining area, and know that you have to reattach it to him. You have two options: exit through the right door and exit through the left door. If you exit through the left door, you will see Foxy in the corner of the room, chasing you down and killing you. If on either the first or the second option you chose to check the restroom cameras, you will see nothing there and then have two options: check the dining area camera and check the party room camera. Checking the Pirate's Cove camera will show you that the curtain is drawn. You will then be taken to the exact same point as you will have if you exited through the left door. These options all lead you to the same next point, unless you've died, the dining area. In the dining area, you see Bonnie's head, and also notice that the doors to party rooms 1 and 2 are closed. You are given two choices: go get Bonnie's head, or check out party room 1. If you check out party room 1, you will go into the room and hear footsteps, giving you two options: hide in party room 1 or open party room 2. If you hide in party room 1, Chica will walk in and leave. However, as you try to reopen the door, you see that it's locked. You sit on a party chair and wait, knowing you'll be fired when the morning arrives, leading to another non-death game over. Alternatively, if you open party room 2, you cannot open the door as it's locked. You have three options then: hide inside party room 1, if you have an ID card, use it, and if you have the master key, use it. If you hide inside party room 1, you will hear an animatronic arrive outside the door and stand there for a while. You have two options: open the door and peek out, or wait a little longer. If you open the door, you will see Mr. Cupcake on the floor. You pick him up and he bites you, killing you. But if you wait a little longer, you will hear Chica come and get Mr. Cupcake, and then get sent back to get Bonnie's head. Alternatively, if you had an ID card, you use it to unlock party room 2 and hide in there until you hear the animatronic pass. You find a lighter in there and add that to your inventory, and you were then sent to go back to get Bonnie's head. If you try to use the master key, you will be met with a trick game over, as there is no master key. After being sent back to go get Bonnie's head, or if you do that as your first choice, to go and get Bonnie's head, you will pick it up as a sticky liquid leaks out of it. Bonnie's eyes blink and swivel towards you as you pick it up. Looking at the stage, you see Chica is now gone. You now have two options: go up on stage or go backstage to parts and service. If you go up on stage, you will put Bonnie's head on his body, but you see that it's wobbly. You reckon you can tighten it by turning it, but you aren't sure which way. You're given four options: screw the head onto the left, screw the head onto the right, go backstage, or use the bonus item. If you screw the head to the left, Bonnie will start twitching before he begins attacking you, grabbing your head and snapping your neck to the left. If you twist Bonnie's head to the right, it will click into place, but you'll notice he seems to have some screws missing, hence why the head fell off in the first place. You find two of the three and put them into place, but they won't work not tightened. You have two options: tighten the screws with your fingers or use a screwdriver. If you tighten the screws using your fingers, the next morning you'll be woken with a phone call from your boss, telling you to turn on the news. You will see that Bonnie's head rolled off onto a child's cake. You're fired, leading you to another non-death game over. If you use the screwdriver on Bonnie's head, you will be able to fix him easily. You're then sent to head back to the security office. If instead you went backstage to parts and service, either instead of going up on stage or rather than turning Bonnie's head to the left or right, you will have a look around. You will see many different Freddy heads with different designs and a Chica head. Just as you realise there aren't any parts for Foxy, you'll hear him running towards you. You will then have three options: grab the screwdriver, grab the flashlight, and grab the Freddy head. If you grab the screwdriver, you will be unable to stop Foxy with it, and he'll kill you. If you grab the Freddy head, Foxy will not be deterred. This is a reference to the FNAF 2 gameplay, where Foxy can't be deterred by the Freddy masks while the other animatronics can. He will scream at you until you pass out, and you'll wake up being stuffed into an animatronic suit. If instead you grab the flashlight, you will stop Foxy in his tracks by shining it on him. Again, another reference to the FNAF 2 gameplay, where the only way to stop him is by shining the flashlight on him. You will then be sent back to return to the show stage to attach Bonnie's head. As you return to the security office, you go back to your chair and drift to sleep. You're awoken by sounds. You hear footsteps to the left and groaning from the right. You have three options: close the left door, close the right door, and use the bonus item. We of course still don't have the bonus item, so we just have two options. If you close the left door, you'll see Bonnie in the light, who cannot get in. However, through the other door, Chica has managed to get in and screams in your face. You can't take the shock and you have a heart attack, dying. If you close the right door, you will shut it just in time to keep Chica out. You see Bonnie on the other side, but he just stands there, watching, As the clock flicks to 6 a.m, they both walk away. You survive the second night. You go home and go in to wake Coppelia. You then have two options: give her the coin or keep the coin. If you give her the coin, she'll look at the plastic golden coin with Foxy's face on both sides. You then make her pancakes before she goes to school, then being taken to the beginning of night 3. If you keep the coin, you will just be taken straight to the beginning of night 3. You go in to begin your third night, terrified and somewhat questioning your sanity. As you sit in the office, you hear a child laugh behind you, but spin around to see nothing. You begin checking the cameras and notice that someone has broken into party room 2. The window is smashed and there's an overturned table with a dark puddle on the floor. You have 4 options. Head to the supply closet, check the West Hall camera, check the supply closet camera, and check cameras for intruders. If you head to the supply closet, you will be met by Bonnie, who will kill you. If you check the West Hall camera, you will see Bonnie leave the supply closet and head into the dining area. If you check the supply closet camera, you will see Bonnie standing inside until he eventually leaves, heading to the dining area. If you check the cameras for intruders, you don't find any. You'll assume that they must be in the kitchen with Chica. All 3 camera options will take you to the same point where you must hurry to the supply closet. You then have 2 options. Clean up the spill and broken glass or board up the window. If you clean up the spill and broken glass, you will grab the cleaning supplies from the closet, a mop, bucket, and a large bottle of bleach. You also find a newspaper article balled up on the floor. Kids vanish at local pizzeria, bodies not found. You're then given 2 options: to fill the bucket here or fill the bucket in party room 2. If you fill the bucket here, you will pour in the bleach and some other chemicals. You shut the door as you hear footsteps, but when you go to open it again, it's locked shut, and the fumes of the bleach and chemicals quickly kill you. If you fill the bucket in party room 2, you will clean up the spill, which you discovered to be blood. As you finish, you will hear footsteps approaching just outside the door. You have 3 options: hide under the table, leave through the open window, or use the bonus item. However, as we don't yet have the bonus item, you have 2 options. If you hide under a table, Chica will come in and find you, quickly dragging you out and killing you. If you leave through the open window, Chica will chase after you and take you into the woods to kill you. Therefore, going back, you have to choose to board up the window before cleaning up the spill and broken glass. If you board up the window, you will grab the nails, planks, and a hammer. You will go into the party room and see a pool of blood on the ground. You start hammering the board over the window when you hear music from the dining area. You have 3 options: try to board up the window quickly, listen and wait, or climb out the window. If you try to board up the window quickly, you will finish boarding it up, but just as you finish, the music will stop. As you turn around, you will be met face to face with Freddy. If you climb out of the window, you would drive home and get out without finishing your shift, but something will get out with you. You see a series of murders reported on the news until one night you hear the animatronics at your door, trying to get in. Therefore, the only way to proceed is by listening and waiting. You will hear the music box and watch Freddy pass, walking in the other direction. You quickly board up the window and then you have 2 choices: return to the security office or go to the supply closet. If you go to the supply closet, you will grab the cleaning products and mop up the blood. As you finish, you hear footsteps outside the door and then have 2 options: hide under the table to surprise them or confront them at the door. If you hide under the table to surprise them, you will instead be surprised when a Freddy suit walks in, dripping blood on the floor. The Freddy bends over and says, "It's me," when you suddenly wake up beneath the table. You head back to the security office and you see that Foxy's no longer in Pirate's Cove. He's with you in the security office, killing you. If instead you confront them at the door, you'll be met with Chica and hit her with a mop. The next day you get in trouble for destroying the animatronic and will have to work for free for a year to pay it back. Another non-death game over. Therefore, the only way to proceed is by returning to the security office instead of going to the supply closet. As you head towards the office, you realise the intruder must be in the kitchen. You have 2 options: stop in the kitchen or continue on to the security office. If you stop in the kitchen, you will see a cupcake with pink frosting and go to eat it, but you'll be stopped by hearing footsteps. You have 2 options: hide behind the counter, or if you have a lighter, use it. If you hide behind the counter, you will see Chica walk in and crash things around. She will quickly leave, but has left Mr. Cupcake in place of the real cupcake that was there. You have 2 options: examine Mr. Cupcake, or proceed to the security office. If you examine Mr. Cupcake, you will have a look at him and add him to your inventory. You will then be sent on to the security office. This point in the security office is the same point you will be taken to if you continued straight to the security office without stopping in the kitchen, or if you head to the security office instead of examining Mr. Cupcake. Alternatively, if you use the lighter, you will light the candle on the cupcake. Chica comes in and stands over it, and you suddenly begin singing Happy Birthday from behind the counter, despite this giving away your location. Chica doesn't attack you, and as you get to the name part of the song, the name Susie pops into your head, so you sing the Happy Birthday song to Susie. This, of course, being the name for the child possessing Chica. This leads Chica to starting to scream and then smashing the cupcake in her hand, storming out of the kitchen, wailing. In the wrapper of the smashed up cupcake, you find a gold ring. You add the gold ring to your inventory and then are sent to the security office, at the same point that all of the other options led you to. In the security office, you will look over the cameras and then quickly go to mop up the blood in party room 2. In the bucket, you will find a plastic water pistol that you can add to your inventory. You get back to the office at 5:59 a.m. and can hear Freddy's music playing all around you. You see him next to you, his eyes flashing with light as the song comes close to its end. However, as the clock turns to 6 o'clock, Freddy turns and walks away. You survive night 3. This, of course, replicating the gameplay of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. You go home and get Capelia ready for school. She tells you that a woman had called just after you left for work last night to try and talk to you, but the reception was bad, so she couldn't leave a message. You were then given 4 options. Give Capelia the golden ring, Mr. Cupcake, the water pistol, or flash her a thumbs up and send her off to school. If you give her Mr. Cupcake, Capelia will never show up to school. As you run to the bus stop, you'll see her backpack torn to shreds. Game over. If you flash her a thumbs up, you will go to the start of night 4. If you give her the gold ring, Capelia will take it and go to school. Remove it from your inventory and start night 4. And if you give her the water pistol, she'll spray it at you before going to school. You remove it from your inventory and then go to night 4. As you enter your shift on night 4, something is off. The lights are all on and the animatronics are throwing a party in the dining area. You hope they're just acting strangely due to the lights being on and decide you need to head to the breaker room to turn them off. You have 2 options. Head to the dining area and hope for the best, or pace around the office trying to think of another way. If you head to the dining area, you'll peer around the corner. Foxy and Freddy are on the stage dancing, although Foxy is twitching and appears to be malfunctioning. Chica is tossing party hats while Bonnie swings at them with his guitar. You're given 3 options. Sneak along the left side of the room, sneak along the right side of the room, and sneak around and under the tables. If you sneak along the left side of the room, Bonnie will quickly snatch you up and they'll all force you to watch them perform increasingly disturbing songs as you fear what they'll do next. Game over. If you sneak around and under the tables, you'll crawl beneath them until the table is tipped over. Bonnie smashes his guitar down right near you and Bonnie and Chica destroy the dining area, killing you. Therefore, to continue, you must sneak along the right side of the room. You'll sneak past, but when the music stops, you roll behind the curtain in Pirate's Cove. They don't see you and they continue playing. You have 2 choices. Look around Pirate's Cove or peek through the curtains to see if it's safe. If you peek through the curtains, Foxy will be staring right back at you. You stare at one another until he attacks you. Therefore, to proceed from here, you must look around Pirate's Cove. You will have a look around at all of the fake treasure and have 4 options. Examine the grate, take some coins from the left pan, add a coin to the right pan, or add a ring to the right pan. If you take some coins from the left pan, you will take the coins until the pans are balanced. But when you turn around, Foxy will be right there, waiting to attack you. If you examine the grate, you will see that it would lead you to be able to crawl through to the breaker room, however it's screwed down. You then have 2 options, pull the grate off with your hands, or use the screwdriver. If you pull the grate off, you will make too much noise. Bonnie will come up through the vent towards you, pushing you right into Foxy, standing behind you. If you use the screwdriver, you will get into the grate just in time as Foxy enters the cove. You crawl in and are then sent to head straight towards the breaker room. Alternatively, if you add a coin to the right pan, nothing would change with the scales, and they'll still be uneven. You then have 3 choices. Take some coins from the left pan, add a ring to the right pan, or continue on to the breaker room. If you take some coins from the left pan, you will be met with the same ending as if you had done initially, being killed by Foxy. If you continue on to the breaker room, you will peek out of the curtain to see Foxy, Chica, and Freddy staring right at you. As you step back into the cove, Bonnie will climb out of the vent, killing you. If you add a ring to the right pan, the scales will balance, and you will be met with a cheering sound as a ticket is dispensed for you, with Fredbear's Family Diner written on it. On the back of the ticket you find a code, 2014. You add the ticket to your inventory and have 2 options. Peek through the curtain or look for some place to hide. If you peek through the curtain, you will meet the same ending as if you'd peeked through the curtain instead of looking around Pirate's Cove, being met face to face with Foxy. If you look for some place to hide, you'll be taken to the same point as if you examined the grate, then having to use the screwdriver to proceed. Both of these options will lead you to the breaker room. Or if at the very start you'd chosen to pace around the office, trying to think of another way. You will pace around until you notice a vent hidden beneath the lockers. You crawl in and have two choices: turn right or turn left. If you turn right, you will find yourself lost in the vents, noticing that they seem to lead to rooms you don't even recognize. You have two options: push on and try to find your way, or use the bonus item. As we don't yet have the bonus item, you must push on and find your way. As you do so, you will become lost and no one comes to find you. You are left in the vents forever. If you turn left, you will crawl through until you need to make another turn. You can't tell what should be to the right, not a room that you can usually access, and you think that the left is the breaker room. You then have two choices: turn right or turn left. If you turn right, you will be taken down the path to a dead end, where you feel a bone that seems to be a part of a skeleton. You turn around and go back. You will then be sent to the same point that turning left takes you. You continue crawling through when the music suddenly stops. You wonder if the animatronics have now run out of charge, and then you could just slip out, turn off the lights, and return them to the stage. You then have two options: exit through the closest vent, or keep moving forward in the vent. If you exit through the closest vent, you will make a lot of noise trying to kick it off, and you will then see Bonnie in the vents, crawling towards you to attack. Therefore, you must keep moving forward in the vent. You will keep moving forward and eventually reach a corridor to the right sooner than you expected. You have three options: listen for clues as to where you are, head to the right, or keep moving forward. If you head to the right, you will lose track of where you are and suddenly find Foxy in the vent, who will attack you. If you keep moving forward, just as you reach the entry to the breaker room, you will be chased and caught by Foxy, killing you. So in order to continue from here, you must listen to clues as to where you are. You wait for a while until the music begins again from the dining area, showing you where you are. You reach the vent cover to the breaker room just as the music stops again. You hear footsteps echoing in the vent, and have three options: try to kick off the vent cover, wait and hope for more music, or use the bonus item. As we don't yet have the bonus item, there are two options. If you try to kick off the vent cover, you would get it off just as Chica starts crawling towards you. As you run into the breaker room, being chased by Chica, Foxy will bolt in and kill you. So you must wait and hope for more music. You will hear Freddy's music playing and kick off the vent cover as the music drowns out the noise. You will then crawl into the breaker room. Going back to the option of heading towards the breaker room, you will crawl through the vents and have three options: listen to clues as to where you are, head to the right, and keep moving forward. These options are the same as if you had kept moving forward in the vent. Heading to the right or moving forward will lead to the same two game overs, with Foxy attacking you in the vents. If you listen to the clues as to where you are, you'll be taken to the same point of kicking off the vent cover, wait and hope for more music, or the bonus item. As previously found, you then have to wait and hope for more music, and then crawl into the breaker room. You crawl into the breaker room, contemplating how easy it would be for a fire to start in there. You see the buttons for the power, but aren't sure if there's a specific way to press them. You have three options: push the buttons one at a time from left to right, push all the buttons at the same time, or try to figure out a certain sequence to push the buttons in. If you push all of the buttons at the same time, you will be charged with an electric shock that kills you. If you try to figure out a certain sequence to push the buttons in, you notice a poster of Bonnie on the wall that says party time, with the word time scratched out. You try and translate the word party to the buttons and press them in alphabetical order, but when you're focused on this convoluted order, Freddy comes in and kills you. Therefore, to proceed, you must push the buttons one at a time from left to right. Doing so will allow the system to power off and back on, resetting. Looking out the door, you see that the lights are now out. You have two options: sneak through the dark restaurant to the security office, or take the vents back to the security office. If you sneak through the dark restaurant to the security office, you will see Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica are now on their charging platforms, now set to night mode. But as you continue walking to the security office, Foxy will run up behind you and kill you. If you take the vents back to the security office, you will crawl through the vents back into the office and survive the night. You go home and panic to find Capelia isn't in her bedroom, but then you find her sleeping in your bed, having missed you at work. She leaves for school and you immediately pass out going to sleep. You are then sent to the beginning of night 5. You sit in the office for your 5th and final night at Freddy's. You contemplate your career here and realise you often struggle to remember each night after you go home until you return to work the next day. As you check the cameras, you realise the show stage is already empty despite the night having just started, this alluding to the increasing difficulty each night in the game. You see that Bonnie is in the West Hall heading towards the security office. Freddy is in the dining area heading towards the security office, and Foxy is halfway out of his curtain. You can't spot Chica anywhere or hear her on the kitchen audio. You have 4 options. Close the left door, close the right door, listen to the kitchen feed a little longer, or check the vents behind you. If you listen to the kitchen feed a little longer, you will listen closely until you think you can hear Chica's groans. However, turning down the volume, you can still hear the sound. As you switch off the monitor, you see Chica in the reflection standing right behind you, killing you. If you check the vents behind you, you will be looking inside and not find much. When you get back up, Chica is at the right door and Bonnie at the left. You try to crawl away in the vent, but they grab one of your legs each, snapping you in half. If you close the left door, you will keep Bonnie out, but realise right away that Chica is standing in the right doorway. You have 4 options. Use Mr. Cupcake, use a water pistol, use a flashlight, or don't use anything. If you use the water pistol, you will spray it at Chica and it will have no effect on her. She kills you. If you use the flashlight, you will flash it at Chica, trying to freeze her, but it doesn't work on her and she kills you. If you don't have anything to use or don't use anything, you will shove the chair at Chica and open and run out of the left door towards the supply closet. Bonnie will be blocking your way as Chica watches you from the security office. You notice the Freddy poster of Let's Party now shows Freddy ripping his own head off, which is an allusion to the fact in the game there's an Easter egg where this poster can change rarely to the exact same thing. Just as you see this poster, you feel hands grabbing your own head, ripping it off. If you use Mr. Cupcake, it will draw Chica's attention. You have 3 options. Throw it at Chica, throw it into the East Hall, or throw it into the open vent. If you throw it at Chica, Mr. Cupcake will bounce off her bib and then roll under the table. She'll become enraged as Mr. Cupcake bugs down onto your leg. Chica drags you both away together. If you throw Mr. Cupcake into the vent, Chica will become enraged, but then Mr. Cupcake will come flying back out with a big bite out of the top. Chica will leave, scared, with Mr. Cupcake. Before you can leave as well, something comes out of the vent to attack you. You see 2 glowing white eyes, then a wide, grinning mouth that is ready to take a bite out of you. This creature, I believe, could be Springtrap. If you throw Mr. Cupcake into the East Hall, Chica will follow after him and you will shut the door, keeping the animatronics out. You'll open the left door as Bonnie is now gone, and you have 2 options. Check the cameras again or check the vent. If you check the vent, you will go and have a look at the vent. As you were there, Foxy will run into the office, but is confused that you aren't at the chair and doesn't spot you right away. You have 3 options. Use a flashlight, use a water pistol, or try to sneak into the vent. If you use the flashlight, you would try flashing it at Foxy, but it doesn't reset him this time, only disorienting him for a second. He lunges at you to attack you just as Bonnie grabs your leg from in the vent. They both pull at you. If you try to sneak into the vent, Foxy will spot you as you sink into the vent and sink his hook into you, killing you. If you use the water pistol, you will spray Foxy and the water causes him to malfunction and shut down. You shut the vent just in time before Bonnie gets in. You now hear Freddy's music and have 2 options. Check the monitors to find Freddy or use the bonus item. As we don't have the bonus item, we only have the 1 option. Check the monitors to find Freddy. You see him standing in the East Hall corner, staring at the camera. You hear his tune playing that you've now figured out, a song from the opera Carmen about a bullfighter. You keep the camera on Freddy, just watching him to ensure he doesn't move. As you do so, the posters on the wall change. The rules for safety change to an article about missing children, and you see disturbing children's drawings. As the night is about to end, you suddenly black out, and when you wake up, you're in the west corner of the restaurant staring up at the security camera. You feel heavier, bigger, stronger, and colder. You leave at 6 a.m. to wake up Coppelia. Just as she is opening her eyes, you wonder if she'll like the new you. This leads to a game over, as it's implied you've been turned into an animatronic, probably Freddy. Therefore, to succeed, you go back and close the right door instead. Closing the right door, Chica will then promptly bang on the door. You can't see or hear Bonnie, but he was heading your way. You have 3 options. Check the camera again, close the left door, or check the vent. Checking the cameras again will take you to the same point as before, where Foxy is running towards your office and you must shut the door again to survive. If you check the vent, you will be taken to the same ending as if you'd done so before. Both Bonnie and Chica are heading towards you and pulling you in opposite directions. If you close the left door, you'll be taken to the same point as if you tried to close the left door again when Foxy was heading towards you. Bonnie will be in the vent, waiting to attack. Going all the way back, if instead of choosing to check the vent, you check the cameras again, you will see Foxy is running to the security office. You shut the left door, but you aren't sure it will close in time. You have 3 options. Close the left door again, hide in the vent, or use the water pistol. Hiding in the vent and using the water pistol will take you to the same point that these choices did previously. Hiding in the vent will lead to Foxy attacking you, and using the water pistol will lead to you becoming an animatronic version of yourself. If you close the left door again, the door will shut just in time as you hear Foxy banging on it. However, you will then see Bonnie climbing out of the vent. You have 3 options. Try to close the vent, use a flashlight, or try to defend yourself. If you try to close the vent, you'll be unable to, as there isn't enough power in the security office to shut both the doors as well as the vent. Bonnie crawls out and attacks you. If you use a flashlight, shining it at Bonnie will cause him to malfunction and stop working. You have to continue to shine it at him until the end of the night, but you make it. The clock changes to 6 a.m. and you have survived the night. You leave the security office, and as you leave Freddy's, the animatronics strangely perform their end of performance sequence, taking a bow. You leave with a strange feeling that you haven't finished your job here, that no one will be able to take care of the animatronics like you. But you leave Freddy's for the final time. This is the first surviving ending, and ends with the end ? It's being because it's not the only surviving ending and is the shortest. Still, this ending is the first official ending, and it means you've successfully survived the first night at Freddy's. If you tried to defend yourself, you'll be able to attack Bonnie and kick his head off. You successfully do so, and then hear Freddy's music heading towards you. You have 3 options. Check the security cameras, try to call the police for help, or use the bonus item. As we don't yet have the bonus item, there are 2 options. If you check the security cameras, you'll be taken to the same point where you watch Freddy until you black out and become him. If you try to call the police for help, you'll realise you don't have the code to call outside of the restaurant. However, by calling the other rooms in the restaurant, you're able to lure the animatronics away. You also notice a message blinking on the phone, and call the voicemail system, which prompts you for a 4-digit code. You have 5 options. Try different combinations, enter 1983, enter 1987. If you have a ticket, check it, or hang up and wait out till the end of your shift. If you wait out till the end of your shift, you'll be again sent to the first surviving ending, the end ? If you try different combinations, you'll eventually guess it, but it takes too long, and you're not ringing around the restaurant to distract the animatronics. Just as the voicemail begins, you get dragged into the vent and killed. As you go, you hear, "You don't know me, but this is really important. Fred and the others will." If you try 1983, you'll hear a strange recording of the bite of 83. You hear a child begging another boy to stop what he's doing, music playing and a man yelling, "Stop that, put him down, get back from the stage, do not touch the bear," until you hear a crunch. You hang up the phone, but you can still hear a child crying. You turn around in your seat and see crunch. This leads to a strange and mysterious game over. If you enter 1987, alluding to the bite of 87, you hear a message saying incorrect password backwards. You type the numbers in reverse and then a recording plays. You realise it's an edited recording of your own voice, recorded some time ago. This will then take you to the same first ending, the end ? If you check the ticket, you will see the numbers 2014 written on the back. As you punch it in, you get a voicemail received 5 minutes ago. A woman's voice warns you that the animatronics aren't acting normally, and it's because of you. You're probably wondering who I am. I bet you don't remember me, but you interviewed me for a summer job at Freddy's, and you decided not to hire me. Ralph, you saved my life. You're confused, as you'd actually given this woman a glowing recommendation to management, and you were surprised when she hadn't gotten the job. This woman, you remember her being called Bronwyn, tells you that you're in danger, saying, "We all are, especially Copelia." This begins to freak you out as she continues. She states that the animatronics are not mindless. This whole week, they've been doing more and more than they used to, testing their limits as well as yours. See, since you decided to leave, they started thinking about how they could leave too. She continues to explain that they've been redirecting the power in the restaurant to their charging platforms, storing extra energy to allow them to move further. She says that they plan to go out tomorrow and terrorize people, that you must come back for one more night to prevent them from escaping. She says you're the only one who can, and you must fix the charging platforms so they can't power up enough to leave. I bet you're wondering, well, why doesn't she do something? I did. I tried. I broke into the restaurant a few nights ago. Jeremy got me. I mean, Bonnie. Sorry about that mess. The slip-up in calling Bonnie Jeremy is because the child, as we know, possessing Bonnie is called Jeremy. She explains that she can't make it any longer and that it's her last night too. That it's too late for him to save her, but he can save everyone else. She asks if he finds her phone in the restaurant to call her mother and tell her what happened to her. You hear a child's laughter, and then as Bronwyn speaks again, her voice is low and garbled, saying, "It's me." As the clock rolls over to 6 o'clock, you try to hear the message again, but it's now gone. You drive home and go to sleep, waking up the following morning on the couch next to Copelia. She pleads with you to not go back again, but you have unfinished business. This leads to a second non-death ending, the end, full stop, but gives you the option to continue on to overtime on night 6. If you fail tonight, they won't need a night watchman and they'll have a much bigger problem on their hands. If you succeed, management won't be so enthusiastic about welcoming you back. Night 6 begins and immediately explains the ending of Night 6 in the first game, when you were fired for tampering with the animatronics. You check the cameras and see that the animatronics are all in their places, standing on their charging stations. You realise that the fastest way is through the west hall, but the safest way is through the vents. You have 3 options. Get into the ventilation shaft, take the direct route to the dining area, or watch the cameras and wait a while. If you watch the cameras and wait, the animatronics will stay put for 2 hours, until Freddy and then Bonnie go missing suddenly. They're not coming for you as they've escaped. You failed, leading to a game over. If you get into the ventilation shaft, you will crawl through and get to the opening for the dining area. You smell something awful in the vents and think it must be a dead rat, although it's probably Bronwyn. As you get to the vent exit, you see Bonnie standing guard right outside the vent, and notice that Freddy and Chica are missing. You have 3 options. Wait for Bonnie to leave, go backstage to cause a distraction, or try crawling to the other side of the dining area. If you wait for Bonnie to leave, you will wait until 3 AM and realise that he isn't budging. You hear the phone ring in the security office, and realise that Bonnie has been distracting you, so the others could get out. You climb out of the vent and he doesn't follow you. You hear a child's laugh as you run to the security office. When you pick up the phone, it's Capelia. She says that your friends came over and woke her up. She hands the phone to someone, Freddy Fazbear, who says, "It's me," laughing. Game over. If you go backstage to try and cause a distraction, you crawl to the backstage opening, where you find where the stench is coming from. You find the spare Freddy costume backstage in a different position and with an older, spare Freddy head. You walk closer to see that it's a body inside the suit, and it's holding a large mobile phone. You have 2 options. Take the phone or remove the head to look inside. If you remove the head, you will find Bronwyn's dead body inside. However, while doing so, Bonnie gets in, standing over you and killing you. If you take the phone, you will see that the last call Bronwyn made was to the security office. You add the phone, the bonus item, to your inventory, and see Bonnie's feet approaching the door. You quickly call the security office and Bonnie runs the other way, heading towards the sound. You tell Bronwyn's body that you will finish this. You then head to the stage, jumping into the crawl space beneath the stage. There are 6 small metal switches in alternating positions. You see a piece of paper with the switches in a certain position, but flicking the switches does nothing. You then have 2 options. Flip all the switches up or flip all the switches down. If you flip all the switches up, the cords and platforms will begin to spark with electricity as the lights outside flicker. You get out of the hatch and brainstorm how to get the animatronics back up on stage. You have 2 options. Get up on the stage and make some noise, or go to the access panel and start up a show. Or if you flip all the switches down, the power will cut out as the system switches over to backup power that the animatronics have already almost completely drained. You have the same 2 options. Get up there and make some noise, or go to the access panel and start up a show. But going to the access panel takes you to a different page than if you'd put all the switches up. Making some noise will take you to the same page regardless of which option you chose. If you get on stage and make some noise, you will look out to the dining area. You clap and cheer, calling out to Freddy, Bonnie and Chica, but nothing happens. They must have already left. However, then Foxy runs out from Pirate's Cove. You'd forgotten about him and he comes to attack you. If you go to the access panel and start a show after having flipped the switches up, you start playing music on the stage as the voice announces Freddy, Bonnie and Chica. They're unable to resist their programming and take their places on the platforms, causing them to smoke and explode. The animatronics are killed. It's 4 AM, but you go home, not seeing any point in sticking around. You go home to Capelia but realise that you've forgotten Foxy, just as you get a knock at the door. Foxy slashes the door down and breaks in. You tell Capelia to sneak out as you distract him, but she won't leave without you. You have 3 options that are based on what you gave Capelia previously. If you gave Capelia a water pistol, if you gave her a ballpoint pen, or if you gave her a different item or nothing. If you gave her a water pistol, Capelia shoots at Foxy and he breaks down. You both survive. The next day, however, a representative from Freddy Fazbear Entertainment comes over and hands you a very large bill, leading to a non-death game over. If you gave her a ballpoint pen, Capelia will stab it into Foxy's eye, distracting him long enough for you two to get away in your car. As you drive away, you call Bronwyn's mother. This still leads to a game over as you've destroyed all the animatronics. If you gave her a different item or nothing, Foxy will begin attacking you. Capelia runs to her room to call the police as you black out. When you wake up, her bedroom door has been destroyed and you slip back out of consciousness. If you get to the control panel to start a show after having flipped the switches down, you will see a strange shadow figure behind the stage. Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy stares at you and you somehow know that if you look away from him, you'll be lost. You tap in a song without looking, and Freddy, Bonnie and Chica walk to the stage as they're introduced, playing their instruments until they begin to slow down. The animatronics go to sleep as the song ends. You risk a quick glance at the stage and turn back to find Golden Freddy right in your face, screaming. He puts his hands on either side of your head. You hear "It's me" repeating over and over again. Just under that angry onslaught of noise, you hear a soft voice, a warm and gentle one. A woman saying, "It's me. Thank you. You did it. She'll be all right now. She's safe. She's safe." You smile knowing that your daughter is safe and go to sleep. This leads to another one of the winning endings, the end. It's not clear if you've survived, but you've succeeded in your mission. At the end of this ending, it states, now that you have the mobile phone bonus item, empty your inventory of everything but the phone, then turn to page 2 and start over for a brand new adventure. This is now how you can go back and do the bonus item endings. But before that, going back, if you tried to crawl to the other side of the dining area rather than going backstage to create a distraction, you will continue crawling through the vents but get extremely lost. You crawl around for almost an hour without getting anywhere and then hear rattling in the vents. You have 2 options, exit the ventilation shaft or keep crawling. If you exit the ventilation shaft, you will fall onto the floor in the restroom and find Chica standing right over you. She stomps on your head and kills you. If you keep crawling, you will go deeper and deeper into the restaurant. You think that it might be part of the abandoned, unfinished expansion of the restaurant. You see an opening, but you aren't sure if it's one that you've passed before. You have 2 options. Exit the ventilation shaft, or keep crawling. Exiting the ventilation shaft will take you to the same point as you had earlier, getting your head stomped on by Chica. If you keep crawling, you'll be taken around and around in circles going mad. You have only the options to keep crawling around and around in a loop, or exit the ventilation shaft and be killed. This loop won't take you to any ending. Now going all the way back to the start of Night 6, if you take the direct route to the dining area instead of getting into the ventilation shaft, you will walk to the stage and find the animatronics are standing in their places, unmoving. You have 2 options, climb into the crawl space or open the access panel. If you climb into the crawl space, you will climb in and then hear footsteps as Foxy runs towards you. He kills you as the others stay in their places, watching. If you open the access panel, Freddy will jump down from the stage and walk towards you to attack. You hear children laughing all around you. This means that the end is the final ending from Night 6 without the bonus item. This is most of the story. However, now it's time to go back and do the options that required the bonus item from the very start. Going back to the very beginning, the first chance to use the bonus item is on Night 1, page 9. As you're hiding under the table in the dining area, you have the choice to use the bonus item. As you're hiding under the table, you scooch out and see that it's Bonnie pacing around. You need him to leave so you can change the light bulb in the bathroom. You decide you could use the phone to distract him. You have 4 options. Call the security office, call one of the party rooms, call backstage, or call the police. If you call the security office, it will be too far away for Bonnie to hear, but he does hear you dialing the phone and begins heading in your direction. You have 3 options. Call one of the party rooms, call backstage, or call the police. These are the same options as if you'd done so initially with any of them. If you call one of the party rooms, this will successfully distract Bonnie as he runs towards the noise in the party room. You will then be sent back to proceed to the restroom. If you call backstage, it will distract Bonnie as he goes towards the sound. You call on your phone as you get out from under the table, but then hear that someone has picked up the call. Garbled whispering, the sound of a child crying. And then a deep, distorted voice in a burst of static says, "It's me." You have 2 choices, respond with "Who are you?" or hang up and proceed to the restroom. Hanging up will send you to the restroom just like calling the party room would. If you respond with "Who are you?", the phone will suddenly die as you hear a child laughing. The laughter gets louder and louder in your head as you're dragged away towards an empty animatronic suit. If you call the police, the call will take too long as you're answering the policewoman's questions out loud. An animatronic will snatch the phone and drag you out from under the table. Proceeding from being sent to the restroom, the next chance to use the bonus item is when you're back in the security office, having almost completed the night at 5:45 a.m. Instead of tidying up or sitting and waiting for 6 a.m, you may use the bonus item. Doing so will allow you to record a message for the next security guard, the messages that we hear in the FNAF 1 game. You give advice on surviving the animatronics without putting in too much information as the messages are screened by management. You were then sent back to complete the first night. The next chance you have to use the bonus item is on Night 2, When you're screwing on Bonnie's head, rather than screwing his head left or right or going backstage, you may use the bonus item. Doing so will allow you to call your friend Dave from maintenance to ask him what to do. He will say that the centre screw must be put in first. You need a screwdriver. You have two options. Use the ballpoint pen or search the dining area. If you use the ballpoint pen, you will use the screwdriver on the back to screw in Bonnie's head before being sent back to the security office. If you search the dining area, you will find a coin from Pirate's Cove. You're able to use it as a screwdriver to screw on Bonnie's head and then add this coin to your inventory before being sent back to the security office. Then when in the security office, you fall asleep and wake up to two noises. Rather than closing the left door or right door, you can use the bonus item. If you use the phone, you will call the dining area, which distracts the animatronics, walking away from the office and towards the sound. You use the last 5 minutes to record your second message for the next person. You then complete the night and are set to start night 3. The only chance to use the bonus item on night 3 is after cleaning up the bloodstain in Party Room 2. As you hear an animatronic walking to the room, you have 3 options. Hide under the table, leave through the open window, or use the bonus item. The other 2 options had ended the game, but now we can use the bonus item. Using the phone to call around the restaurant, you're able to lure the animatronics away as you complete cleaning up the party room. The final call you make to backstage is picked up. You hear faint children's laughter, and then your phone lights up with a message, "Save them." You will then be sent to complete night 3. On night 4, the 2 chances to use the bonus item are when lost in the vents. Rather than push on and try to find your way, you may use the bonus item. This option is also displayed when you've climbed through the vents and are about to enter the breaker room, but the music stops. Instead of try to kick off the vent cover or wait and hope for more music, you can use the bonus item, and this will take you to the same point. In the vents, you can use the phone to call other rooms in the restaurant and lure the animatronics away from you, allowing you to break open the vent cover and crawl into the breaker room. On night 5, the first chance to use the bonus item is when you've attacked Foxy with the water pistol and Freddy is heading towards you. Instead of checking the monitors to find Freddy, you can use the bonus item. As you hear Freddy heading towards you, you have 3 options. Call for help, call home, or record a message for your replacement. If you call for help, the police will come and save you. Fazbear Entertainment sues you for defamation and destruction of private property, and you lose your mind. Game over. If you call home, you will call Copelia one last time and tell her don't come here. As you speak, Foxy reactivates, and all is silent as the animatronics wait for you to finish speaking. If you record a message for your replacement, you will record your final message. You didn't record one on night 4, so this will be sent on night 4. The exact same message as is played in FNAF 1 night 4 is recorded as you're terrified, hearing the animatronics about to kill you. This leads to an ending simply stating, "The end." You could have reached this exact same path by using the bonus item a few pages later. Rather than checking the security cameras or trying to call the police for help, you can use the bonus item. On night 6, you can use the bonus item when stuck in the loop in the vents. Instead of exiting the ventilation shaft or keep crawling, you can use the bonus item. You call the dining area, which guides you there, and are then able to get out in the opening and in the dining area. You open up the switchboard for the charging platforms and then call Dave the maintenance guy. He tells you the correct positions for the switches in alternating positions, and as you do it, you get a jolt. Nothing happens. You then have the 2 options, flip the switches up and flip the switches down, which will take you to the same point as if you'd selected these choices after reaching the stage on night 6 originally and flipped the switches matching the diagram. So there we go. There are all 75 possible endings of the book. The 4 actual or official endings, the non-game over endings, are the end, the end full stop, asterisk, the end, asterisk, or the end. The first option being the ending where you finish up on night 5, the animatronics wave you goodbye, and you leave the job for good, feeling a sense strange of having unfinished business. The second being the ending where you complete night 5 and have heard the message from Bronwyn, being asked to stop the animatronics from escaping. You then have the option from here to continue to night 6. The third being where you successfully complete your mission before passing out, unclear as to whether or not you have survived. And the fourth being the ending where you were killed by the animatronics on night 5 by using the bonus item. You record a message for the next person before being killed. These being the successful endings and not game overs mean they're considered to be the actual endings of the story. Just like all FNAF books, it has been stated that they are not directly canon to the universe of the FNAF games. However, this story is of course clearly a setup for the first game, placing yourself for the first time in the perspective of Phone Guy. It also matches the game's canon for the fourth ending to be the true ending, due to the messages you hear in the first FNAF game, hearing Phone Guy being killed at the end of Night 4. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video of me covering all of the endings, and let me know in the comments below if you would like me to cover the second book in the series.